Ask if you could please take your seats. I hope you enjoyed the morning portion of today. My name is Scott Robinson. I lead the FinTech initiative here at Plug and Play, so thanks again for coming. I know many of you have come from Las Vegas for Money 2020, so we appreciate your time. We have a fantastic afternoon in store for you, including a keynote speaker and 20 startups. So we just ask the folks in the back, if you're going to speak, please go outside and take our seats so we can get started. I wanted to share with you a couple updates over the past few years as it relates to Plug and Play FinTech. So right here on this stage, roughly 4.5 years ago, we launched our very first iteration of Plug and Play FinTech. In this picture, you can see a number of the leading folks in the Bitcoin domain. So it included David from Lightspeed, Chris from Ripple, of course, our colleague Vinny from Civic, another colleague, David, who sits on the board for Factom. And since then, we've changed quite a bit. So I'm going to share with you our story and how we've expanded. On December 2nd, 2014, Plug and Play FinTech was formally announced. This is the day after one of our major portfolio companies, Lending Club, had its IPO on Wall Street. And here pictured is the core team, two of which have been sent abroad, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. As of this past year, Plug and Play FinTech has expanded into Paris, so we're very excited for our relationship with BNP Paribas abroad as well as globally. And we're operating out of Station F, Xavier Ziel's large co-working space called Station F, which is a converted old train station. Through this program, we've had roughly 10 different startups accelerated. They worked with 14 key business units at BNP Paribas, and we were able to convert 3 out of those 12 pilots that we landed into a commercial product. And as of most recently, earlier this year, we launched our activity in Indonesia. And this is a very important element for us because it represents one of the biggest markets that we're watching, financial inclusion. And so Indonesia for us is a fantastic beachhead as we look at Southeast Asia and the opportunity ahead as it relates to both the underbanked and unbanked. And as of recently, roughly a month ago, we pushed our other colleague, Philip, to lead all of our Japanese activities in conjunction with Mitsubishi. So at the end of the day, we're excited to also announce what just happened this past week. So our colleague and CEO, Saeed, was on the other side of the world signing this document, announcing our relationship with Abu Dhabi Global Markets. So the point I'm trying to make here today is that we're not just here in the United States, we're global. And if you're in New York, we're happy to announce that we have a soft landing, an event on November 1st. My colleague RJ Carver and Will are around. Please raise your hand. We'd love to talk to you about what we're doing there. Our vision at Plug and Play FinTech is to enable the world's largest and most effective financial technology platform for innovation. We've invested in roughly 43 startups over the past 2 years, accelerated well north of 160. And today you'll see our latest cohort, batch number 6. So if you're a startup or if you're a prospective corporate learning to learn more about what we can do for your innovation strategy, please let us know. Of course, we're here to help you mitigate against some of the challenges in the domain. So you may have seen this before, but we're watching 3 major trends at this moment. Death by 1,000 cuts, small startups taking your business, what happens when Venmo goes live globally, or Facebook opens 1 billion wallets, and lastly, where are you in your mobile strategy? As it relates to our partners, a big thank you. Many of you are featured here in front today. We're looking to expand and, of course, enable our startups every opportunity available. So if you have questions, you want to learn more, shoot us a note. And with that, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Saeed Hamidi. Warm round of applause.
Thank you, Scott. You know, I had to negotiate really hard for 5 minutes, but they allowed me to be here. First of all, I also wanted to welcome everybody. This, maybe you don't know, but this Abu Dhabi Global Market is an initiative by Abu Dhabi Monetary Fund. It's a free zone for financial institutions to set up shop there, and they already have 350 financial institutions located there. And the person who is running it, Richard, on the picture, used to run Singapore Monetary Authority, so they have a very serious team. You know, how many of you guys have been here before? You know, I'm amazed, you know, a lot of newcomers. You know, sometimes among all of the mumbo jumbo that we do here, some people don't realize why we do this. Quite frankly, I want to find the next PayPal, the next lending club. We have a really exciting bank in Berlin called Number 26. So our main goal is to go through looking at thousands of startups a year, with your help, filtering them down to the top 20, top 30 that you will see here or in Paris. And then we really hope some of these startups will change the world. But a lot of people know RJ, Scott, myself, but we have an incredible team behind us that we call it the venture team that do the filtering, do the deal flows. We had 360 deal flows last quarter. So each one of these deal flows, we kind of find what is BNP Paribas' interest. Then we filter it from 20, 30 startups to the most relative 5. And then when lately our stats are over 50% of the startups introduced during the deal flow, they have a follow-up meeting with the bank or with the financial institution. So I wanted to bring on the stage the venture team because they usually are behind the scene. Please, give them a... Please come up. These are the real heroes of Plug and Play, not me. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So maybe a little word from Ivan and George.
Hey guys, thank you everyone. So my name is Ivan, partner here at Plug and Play Ventures. First and foremost, thank you everyone for coming here today. For us, we always say we're as good as all the startups, all portfolio, and all our partners that work with us. So with that, big thank you to all of us here, and thank you again.
Hi everybody, I'm George Demoni, and I like to say if we did one thing right at Plug and Play is bring on the best team possible. So please give a round of applause for this excellent team here. So we all work really hard and really appreciate SAD recognizing us. Thank you so much.
And George, maybe you can ask these 3-star startups to also join us.
Sure, so we have Onfido, Bowtie, and Drasten, who actually just got acquired. They could come up, please.
If I may, again, I wanted to recognize them. Great mustache, by the way. As one of our portfolio companies that are doing great, I always bug him that he sold too fast, but he has promised me he will come back with another startup. But why I wanted to feature these 3 startups, because as Scott mentioned, we have done 42 investments, let's say in the past 3 years. Even though a lot of the investments are young, but some of them are right now at 200x, 30x. And if you take the overall fintech investment portfolio, we are right around 9x right now. And why I'm saying this is because a lot of the financial institutions have asked us, can we co-invest with you, or can we have a fund that you do the follow-on investment in these great companies? And I'm really pleased to announce that we will have 3 funds starting January 2018. One is FinTech Fund. So we feel all of the banks, all of the financial institutions that would like to have a better look at our portfolio and help to write the bigger checks will join. We will have an InsurTech Fund, and then we will have an umbrella fund that is on top of all our 12 verticals. But again, the real stars are the entrepreneurs and the venture team. And again, thank you so much for joining us on stage. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. We've been working with them for some time, and it's been very beneficial for our startups to have access to this API. So please help me in welcoming Seema from Plaid, leading business development.
Hi, everybody. My name is Seema Gandhi from Plaid, and I run business development there. This is a really exciting event because I think it exemplifies how banks are coming together with fintech, and there's a lot of synergy between the technology and the talk of disintermediation is put aside, and it's all about how we can grow and be better for customers around the world. So that's what Plaid is, essentially. We're trying to enable innovation in financial services, and we're excited to work with a lot of the companies that are here today, both on the banking side as well as on the fintech side. I'm going to talk about a couple of themes. One, I'm going to talk about what we're seeing in terms of how consumers are interacting with financial services. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're seeing the worlds between banks and fintech come together. And we'll wrap it all up at the end and talk about innovation. So first, a quick poll. How many services do you think are connected to your bank right now? And when I say services, I mean things like utility bills, insurance bills, credit cards, payroll, investment accounts, subscriptions. You get the idea. So, okay, quick poll of hands. If you think that you have less than 5, raise your hand. Less than 5 services connected to your accounts. Okay, 0. That's about 0 hands. All right, what about between 5 and 10? We're seeing a few hands. 10 to 15. All right, we're seeing more. 15 to 20. All right, that's pretty good. Well, the answer actually, as we look at all of these different things, is about 15, more than 15. So that's what the room got it right. You guys know. In a poll that we did, the average consumer has more than 15 different services connected to their bank account. That's a massive number. When you look at what all of this means, you add up the utility bills, the insurance, the credit cards, recurring bills, direct deposit, all of that activity being connected to your account means that the bank account is actually the hub of your financial life. It means it's harder to leave a bank when you have more services connected. It's the reason why we love direct deposit and bill pay. Users are engaged with your bank account. So what does this mean for the bank? This means that there's evolution happening in the bank. And we mean that right here, when you look at what this evolution has looked like over the past 200 years, 200 years ago, this was a very human-to-human personal interaction. There's a lot of paper involved. You go to your local community bank. The reason why we have these community banks is because you couldn't actually leave the state to go get or issue loans. I don't know if any of you read the Nike Phil Knight's biography, but there's a really great section in there about banking and the role that funding did for his small business there in Oregon and how they were limited to the number of banks that they could actually get funding from. Completely different world when you fast forward 50 years to today. When you look at 15 years ago, though, web and mobile were starting to come on board. You remember the first types of online experiences with these banks. I think some banks still have a little bit of innovation to do in terms of their UXs, but we're seeing a lot of innovation in terms of responsive web, mobile-friendly designs. But when you look at the most recent phase of innovation, and this is still very early days, it's about third-party applications. It's about things like Stash, Venmo, Betterment, Wealthfront, Acorns, different services that are connecting to your bank account. So what does that mean for the bank and what it offers to its consumers? It's really about opening up that banking channel. So before, a consumer went to their bank and they would have a limited number of choices when it came to a credit card, a debit card. Your banker would be your gateway into your financial services. And they would offer you the credit card that that bank issued, loans, your mortgage. They'd know you by name, you'd walk in, and that would be your world. That would be your financial world. Today, you're starting to see that model open up a bit. You're seeing lending companies come out and say, hey, you can have your banking relationship, but you can have a loan outside of this bank. It's still connected to your bank, though. Most likely, you're actually going to pay your loan outside of that bank. And maybe as part of the underwriting process, you're going to hook up your bank account to that lending platform so that they can look at your transactional history or verify your income or employment information. So it's an interesting synergy now where that bank maintains its connectivity to this lending platform, but that user is straddling both worlds. And you're seeing this open up a bit with payments, investing, and this world is changing rapidly, as we all know. But that bank, no matter how we change this, remains the center of this world. Consumers are still connected to their bank accounts, and the funds still flow through those bank accounts. All right, so we talked about what's happening on the consumers. They're connecting to their bank accounts. We've got 15 different types of connections. It's a very fluid world now where these banks are connecting to these applications. So let's talk about these applications. What is actually fintech? And we get this question a lot. So we've got financial institutions. That's the part of fin. And we've got startups, the technology companies. And we often talk about them like they're mutually exclusive. Oh, you're a fintech company, or oh, you're a financial services company. But at Plaid, we like to say that banks are actually the first companies to do fintech. These are the first folks that had technology divisions within the financial institutions that were building different experiences and employing different types of technologies to deliver services to their customers. So there's an overlap here. And what we're seeing is that this overlap over time is increasing. Financial institutions are becoming more technology focused, and tech startups, as here, are becoming more friendly with financial institutions. You can see this, recent announcements with Chase launched their own app called Fin in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but very interesting news where they're trying to add emojis to different types of interactions. Sound like Venmo? I think so. But you're seeing this cross-pollination of ideas where these worlds are not as separate as they used to be. And you're seeing companies, fintech companies, think about how do we work with the bank? How do we build an apparatus to comply, adopt regulatory compliance that makes us easy to work with institutions? So you're seeing these worlds merge, which is exciting for us, because I think that when you talk about scale and you talk about the impact of consumer lives, there's obviously a lot more synergy that happens here when these worlds come together. So what do we do in all of this? We haven't talked about Plaid at all. We've talked about the consumers, they're changing. We've talked about the applications, they're offering different choices and innovations, and these worlds are not mutually exclusive. They come together. So Plaid builds the APIs and infrastructure that powers a lot of these applications. And APIs are actually the modern building blocks for banking. It's how different types of applications actually talk to each other. So when we talk about the banks and we talked about the fintechs, we talk about this merging of the worlds, there's got to be a merging that lets them communicate, and that communication happens through APIs. So we facilitate the transfer of data, of information, and other pieces of services that service both the bank and the fintech. Importantly, all of this change is going to power a post-branch world. When we think Plaid, we think about a platform that empowers both banks and fintech companies and a digital ecosystem that's not going to be the branch. I think the launch of Fin yesterday from Chase is a good example of how banks are increasingly focused on the online world. We see a lot of digitization. We talk to mortgage folks who say, hey, how do we strip out some of this friction? Right now, if someone applies for a mortgage, they've got to upload 3 months of paper statements. There's no reason they should do that. It should be digital. How do you think about that in an online space? Because branches are expensive, and it's not how people actually want to interact anymore. So in the past 10 years, this should be no surprise to you, 26,000 branches have actually closed. Think about how many different digital apps have actually come up in that time period. No coincidence. And we live in a post-PC world. I'm looking at a lot of you guys with your phones right in front of you right now. It's all about mobile. And if you think about mobile applications, I remember when I was at American Express and we launched the Bluebird product in conjunction with Walmart, we asked ourselves, do we really think people are going to need an app for this product? I don't know. Is online enough? That wouldn't even be a question today. Of course they need an app. They need to be able to check their balances. They need to be able to transfer money. They need functionality within an app. And not surprisingly, mobile web usage surpassed desktop in 2016. And we're only going to see this trend increase. And this is an interesting little factoid. There are more SIM cards out there than people on Earth. So people not only have one device, they've got multiple devices that they're interacting with. All right, so we've established this. Digital is the future, mobile is the future. What does this mean? Interesting point is that we're still in early days of what digital looks like. Again, remember, online banking is only about 15 years old. Mobile banking, smartphones, the iPhone came out 10 years ago. This is the 10-year anniversary of the iPhone. When you look at apps, about 5 years, and you look at these applications, the Acorns, the Betterment, and you think about that chart, this is only 2 years old. So we're still in early days about how people interact with their different financial services. So 1 in 6 US adults, even in these early days, uses a fintech product. And there's a lot of investment going into this world. Last year, fintech investments were about 12 billion. And when you talk to the small banks, this is the first thing that's on their mind. How am I going to best invest in my infrastructure to ensure that I can keep up with this digital world? And importantly, for the consumer, 66% of people say that access anytime and anywhere is really important to them. They don't want to wait for 9 to 5 hours to call their bank and take care of something. They want to be able to do it when they want to do it, even if it's after hours and it's on their phone. And I think the rise of mobile check deposit is a good example of that. When it first came out, I saw a lot of people shrug their shoulders. It's easy enough for me to go to an ATM and deposit my check. And think about the last time you actually did that. I can't remember the last time I actually went to an ATM and deposited my check. So who are these people that are adopting this technology? Are they all really, 18-year-olds on skateboards? No, actually. A lot of them, 81% have a smartphone, not surprising. 60% use online banking weekly, which means that they're engaged with their bank accounts. So despite the fact that you're seeing a lot of cross-pollination between how you're doing banking services with your actual bank and these different applications, the reality is that folks are still going to their online bank in order to interact. Another interesting fact, a lot of these applications can operate actively, or passively, in the background, which means you may be signed up for a service like Acorns. It's taking funds and automatically saving money for you. But you may not check it as regularly as you do your bank account because your bank account is still the hub of where you do your financial work. 28% use mobile payments, and this is increasing rapidly. And you're starting to see banks, again, in that move towards fintech, adopt services like Zelle. 13% of folks do not have a mobile phone, not very high. I find this fact to be very interesting. 18% of seniors use online banking. For Plaid, we see a drop-off generally of folks after 65 who just feel a little less comfortable using online services. But even within that demographic, which is our weakest demographic in terms of adoption of these different services, 18% still use online banking. And we're seeing this reach out onto underbanked folks as well. So when we talk about financial inclusion and the efforts here to reach into broader segments of society, these services are being used by a lot of folks. They're powering services like Active Hours, which helps folks avoid payday loans by linking up to their bank account in a way that's more seamless. And when we see disruptions in the service, these are some of the folks that are often the most vocal because they rely on these different types of technologies the most. And these folks are millennials. But again, when we think about millennials, the oldest millennial is now about 36, which means they are key targets for someone who's owning a house and has kids. And the youngest millennials are about in their mid-20s to late 20s. So these are not young kids anymore. These are kids that are going to be accounting for 46% of all income by 2025. And yet, a lot of them don't have a credit card. These folks grew up, as we all know, post this Great Recession and are a little bit credit shy. So a lot of them use debit cards and not credit cards. And not surprisingly, 20% have never written a check. This is really important when you think about seamless experiences and account validation and authentication. For Plaid, this is something that's really important. If you think about the traditional way for verifying a bank account, you would take out your check, you would copy your account and your routing number into an online experience, and you would get micro trial deposits into your account, and then 3 to 5 days later, you'd go back and say, yes, I got 2 cents and 4 cents, and can you please confirm my account? That doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work for a segment that wants access anytime and anywhere immediately, and a segment that doesn't even have a checkbook. So as we think about different forms of authentication and ways of doing that securely in a digital world, avoiding fraud, that's something that Plaid is very focused on. And 41% would prefer to avoid people. They want everything to be done electronically. They want to be able to engage in a transaction, send money, deposit their check. They don't really want to walk into a branch and have a nice little chat with their banker. The reality is, there is a segment of the population, my father-in-law, who's down in the South, loves to go to the bank and visit with his banker. But that's not the future, unfortunately. And you've heard this one. This is a very common stat. 71% would rather go to the dentist than interact with a bank. I personally find that hard to believe, but it's true. Okay, so we've talked about services and how people are engaging with this world of applications. Remember, 15 plus today in a world that's only 2 years old with these different applications. We've talked about banks starting to adopt technology. We've talked about technology starting to move towards the financial services world and maturing. And we talked about what these consumers look like and the trends. What does this mean for banking? It means there's a lot of opportunity. Today, most banks' mobile apps are actually pretty straightforward. The easiest thing to do on a banking app is check your balance. There's not much more functionality than that. You usually can't apply for a mortgage. You can't apply for a loan. You can't refinance your student loan. It's generally just applying for or looking at your balance and looking at your transactional history. So when you think about that and you compare it to the functionality that's offered elsewhere, it tells you how much more space there is for banks to start innovating within their applications. And consumers are starting to expect this. If you look at how much innovation there's been over the past 2 years and how beautiful experiences look like now within these different financial applications, it just shows that it's not enough now to just cut it. Financial services and traditional banks no longer get an excuse or a pass for having UXs that aren't as consumer friendly because they're a bank. There's an expectation now that UXs can be really interactive, accommodating, things that we would expect in other industries as well. So when you pull this all together, what does this mean for this intersection of banking and fintech? Well, highly customized digital experiences are the baseline expectation for consumers. You're starting to see the customization element come through when you talk about AI, bots that are starting to give recommendations and preferences for different types of services or products. It's not enough to just show transactional history. How do you tell someone what they can do with that transactional history? And you're seeing a lot of innovation within the fintech space, and banks start to adopt that as well with bots and different types of ways of prompting customers towards services or answering questions. But there's still more opportunity to embed these two different worlds. So when you look at what millennials prefer to do, and again, remember, millennials are going to be earning 46% of all income within the next 10 years. They want things that are easy, they want things that are convenient, and they want things that are quick. That's the reality of what this consumer set wants. And so when we think about balancing this digital world and the consumer expectations with the things that we all care about, like fraud prevention and security, it's important that we keep in mind that these two can be balanced together without compromising things like convenience, speed, and ease of use. So I'm pretty excited about what this world looks like in 10 years. Personally, I think that we're going to see even more symbiosis between banks and these different applications. The reality is that banks still hold the center of people's financial lives, and there's a trust that goes with banking, but there's an experience that can be added and layered on top of that. So when you think about the future and you think about innovation, there's an opportunity here to bring these worlds together even more. I'm excited to see, when I open up a bank account, a world in which I can not only choose to do my banking services, but also pick and choose different types of apps that I want to integrate into my experience. And that's something that I hope I'll see within the next 5 years as we think about bringing together these worlds of experience as well as the trust that comes with banking. Thank you. Okay, I've been been told. Any questions that I can answer? Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, yeah. I think that's a really good question. The question was, with some of the things that have been happening with different types of banks, do we think that banks' trust with the consumer is eroding? I think at the end of the day, people still trust their banks to hold their funds securely. There's a level of trust that comes with credibility. And what I tell smaller banks, like community banks or credit unions, is that your relationship is really what sets you apart from the larger banks. When folks walk into a credit union, they're looking for that kind of element of personalization with their banker. But FDIC insurance goes a long way. And the reality is, when someone puts their money in a bank, they know that bank has their back. Yes, scandals aside, but I think that's just going to be a periodic episode, and ultimately, folks are going to leave the majority of their financial lives within the banks.
Boy or girl?
I actually don't know, so you can have your guess. I've heard a lot of different guesses, and what's really amazing to me is that everyone has a strong opinion. So we'll find out soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, welcome to Plug and Play, everybody. One more quick round of applause for SEMA real quick. Thank you very much. We're happy to have you here. If you guys are at Money 2020, I'm glad you guys made it here in one piece. One quick round of applause for all of our partners here in attendance to make this platform as successful as it has been. Few housekeeping items, and then we'll get started. If you look at the back of your ticket or your name tag, you'll see pretty much the voting ballot, the event brochure, and the Umbrella meeting app. Feel free to vote during or after, hopefully after, for Best in Show. We'll have a 2 to 5 minute buffer at the end. We'll be announcing the winner of the show. So today, we have 21 fintech companies presenting, and they're graduating the 3-month program. First up, if he's paying attention, we have Elnor with Credit Stacks.
Good morning. So we issue premium credit cards to trustworthy, new-to-credit customers. Hi, I'm Elnor, founder and CEO of Credit Stacks, and let me share with you why I'm here today. I sold a company I founded, came to the States, and couldn't get a credit card. Again, I successfully sold a company and couldn't get a simple credit card, and I'm not the only one. Every year, 3 million new-to-credit prime customers are mistreated by the banks just because they're new to credit. Because it doesn't matter if you're a Google engineer, a McKinsey consultant, or even an investor. Without a credit history, you're a nobody, and you're not getting a credit card. And this is a $15 billion missed opportunity every year. This is also where we come in. We look at your future instead of your past. Essentially, over the past 2 years, we've built a system on top of over 200 meaningful data points that allows us to truly understand the person behind the numbers. This allows us to issue the Credit Stacks credit card, a $5,000 unsecured credit card the day the person is off the plane. Before they have an SSN, before they have a US address, before they even have a bank account, we can put a premium credit card in their hands. Because unlike banks that look for reasons not to trust customers, our technology allows us to identify clusters of underserved customers whom we can trust and treat as the prime customers that they are from day one. Now, I know what you're thinking. Credit cards are an extremely tough business, and you're absolutely right. Over the past 2 years, we've broken through all the barriers to entry and are now 2 weeks away from issuing our first credit cards. In 2 weeks, we start shipping credit cards. On top of this, we've built unique B2B2C distribution channels that drive customers to us at less than $10 per account instead of the hundreds of dollars traditional card companies spend. And we did all of this by relying on an exceptionally experienced founding team, a former FDIC division director, former head of buyer-side risk rules for the entire PayPal platform, 2 serial entrepreneurs, including one who architected some of the largest IT projects in the world, and were supported by a first-tier advisory board. Former EVP loyalty for Chase credit cards, founder and CEO of CardWorks, one of the largest card processing companies in the country, and founder and CEO of Fraud Sciences, a $170 million PayPal acquisition. We're launching our cards in 2 weeks and would be delighted to have a conversation with you. So if you also think it's time to start treating new-to-credit customers the way they deserve to be treated, come and talk with us. Thank you.
It's bright up there. So I think most of you guys, or I just assume most of you guys knew me, but for those who I did not announce my name to all the newcomers, my name is Max. Been here about 2.5 years. We asked some of the startups to give a fun fact. I have one here for the next company. When I asked Konstantin his fun fact, he told me that there's nothing fun about a middle-aged German. So welcome, Konstantin, with Blockdaemon.
Hi, I'm Konstantin, CEO and co-founder of Blockdaemon. We're a blockchain nodes as a service company. Think of us as the Heroku of blockchain. I'm going to show a little bit of a convoluted slide here. What I want to say is that setting up and managing a blockchain isn't cheap or easy. If you believe that blockchain is the future of data management, and we believe it is, then you will have around 100,000 permission-based nodes deployed until 2020. And right now, there isn't really a platform that allows you to do that across networks and across chains. So we believe we're best positioned to solve for that need. I'm going to walk you right through our product. It's about configuring and launching nodes in minutes. So you can select your particular chain, the storage infrastructure, and you have a 3-click deploy to actually deploy a physical node. The other thing that makes us unique is the pricing. One of the key factors is that we actually accept crypto funds in order to launch nodes. Right now we're offering Bitcoin. We're obviously going to extend that to other tokens in the space. So, and $249 for 3 nodes is the current price point. That doesn't include all of the network features. It depends on where the network sits and if we're hosting or not. The important thing that happens right away, we actually spin up a dashboard for you in which you can actually manage the nodes. You can click on them, you can assign permissions to them, you can add nodes, so all the billing happens in-app, so you can start with 3 nodes and then you add nodes as you go through the system. What you can also see is, which is our long-term ambition, is to drive down the overall infrastructure costs for deployments of nodes. Blockchain networks are decentralized and expensive, and we want to make sure that the community has a tool to actually easily extend the bandwidth here. So you can purchase tokens, bitcoins, and throw them in and actually extend the bandwidth of the platform. The Blockdaemons, we're very, very community focused. We just launched the site, dotheyhaveaproduct.com. You hear a lot about ICOs. All these guys raise a bunch of money. The money is real, they need technology, but a lot of those guys actually have none. And so this is our little contribution to the community, and a nice little inbound. At the bottom it says, do you need a product? So you'll have projects on there, we'll grade them fairly, and hopefully it'll be a nice little deal flow for us. So to kind of wrap up, fast and easy, 1-hour initial setup, 5 minutes to set up a node. We're very cost efficient. We're currently 700% cheaper to set up, mainly because the alternatives to this are, you can go to IBM and ask them to do this for you. You can go to larger platform companies who have a bunch of integrated services that they will sell you. We're a very, very slim part of the 3rd layer in the stack. We're highly flexible. Our cloud is, we're interoperable. You can switch chains and networks throughout the process, and we're infinitely scalable. So with that, I'll leave you. Join us on our Slack, and that's it. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Konstantin. All right, next up we have Josh from Tomorrow. A little fun fact about Josh, he likes running for a hobby, 100-mile races. Please welcome Josh.
Thank you. I'm Josh, co-founder of Tomorrow. Quick personal story. So when I was 19 years old, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. There was not much that could be done for him, and it was tragic for our family, but it could have been really worse. He could have left us in a financial crisis, but fortunately, my father was a pretty responsible guy, and unlike most Americans, he took the time to create a will, to set up a trust for our family, and to buy an appropriate amount of life insurance. So when he passed on, my mother was able to pay off our home and our car. I was able to go to college and not graduate saddled with a bunch of debt, and my siblings were able to do the same thing. The point is, we were able to have time to figure things out for our family financially. So I'm going to talk today about Tomorrow, the inheritance app. In America, we have a major problem. People don't do this stuff. It ends up on your permanent to-do list. 74% of Americans have no individual life insurance. Nearly 80% of millennials 40 and under don't have a will, which means the primary parents of young children aren't even naming guardians for their kids. Only 5% of Americans utilize a trust, and 50% of millennial families would have an immediate problem paying their monthly bills if something were to happen to a primary wage earner. So at Tomorrow, we set out to try to solve this problem. We thought, what if we could make it easier to do this, all from the comfort of your phone? What if we could make it accessible, and what if we could make it a little more aspirational? Bring the experience above the joy line, as we often talk about at Tomorrow. We believe that financial security for all Americans begins with a will, trust, and life insurance. So when you come into the Tomorrow app, you teach us about what your family looks like. You teach us about your finances. You sync your home, and we know the value of your home. You walk through your home and take pictures of things that are of value to you, and you decide who's going to get them if something were to happen to you. And we help you make decisions around important roles, like who's going to be the guardian of your kids, and who would be the executor of your will and a trustee for your trust. We take all the decisions you make within the Tomorrow app, and then we generate for you fully customized legal documents based upon your state laws. The will and trust, which is a revocable living trust, is completely free. And then at that point, we know a lot about you. It makes it very easy for us to tell you exactly how much life insurance you would need, and you can finish the app within 3 minutes right inside of Tomorrow. We're a nationwide producer of life and health insurance, and our docs are currently available in 47 states. What are we different? How are we different? Yeah, there's sites out there like Policygenius and others who serve people who wake up in the morning and say, I want to buy term life today. Frankly, that's not many people. So what we're doing is we're building a side door to reach people when they have the highest propensity to buy. And we're teaching them how they can protect their families and what financial products are best for them to protect the future for their family. We've got a great experienced team up in Seattle. 4 of our co-founders have built and sold 4 previous companies. And how can you go wrong with a head of engineering named Rambo? We've raised about $3 million from some great investors, including Maveron, Plug and Play, Allianz, CFSI, and others. And Tomorrow is now live in the App Store. You can download it on your phone right now and start building your tomorrow today. Thank you.
Next up, we have Thomas, who was the Finovate Fall winner 2017 with his company Valeo. Thank you.
Thank you. Volio is a customer acquisition growth engine. We've developed a platform that enables people to combine their assets and knowledge with those that they trust to invest together. We're in soft launch across the United States through our own broker-dealer, and now white labeling the platform to financial institutions worldwide. It's quite simple. Your existing customers are your most valuable asset, and those who use this platform invite 7 to 12 of their friends, family, or colleagues. Most of them are banking somewhere else, and some will go off and create additional teams with different social cohorts. This extends the virality. It's simple for a user. They set up a fund and invite their friends. And from there, the app takes over. Here I am on the platform, and as you can see, I'm on 4 different teams. One with my colleagues, one with my family, one with my friends, and one with my neighbors. I can view my assets across those clubs, or I can see my pro rata aggregated share across all of my accounts. You can see I've got exposure to over 40 positions, and I'm broadly diversified. Let's dive into one of our clubs. And on the Volio team, I'm participating with Glenn and Olivia. We manage a healthy portfolio, but are sitting on lots of cash. So I'm going to go make a proposal. Proposals are essential to the operation of Volio because it's the democratic majority that sends a trade to market. Having selected the security and the club, and whether I'm buying or selling, it becomes a matter of dragging out your limit price and allocation. This makes it easy for even a novice investor to figure out how much of their portfolio would be exposed to a certain position without ever needing a calculator. On the review screen, I get to add a note to my team to explain why now is the right time to initiate this trade. And upon submission, I can tweet to my followers or post to Facebook to gather insights from a broader community. Meanwhile, my team has received a notification, which when followed will take them directly to the proposal. They can see what I've suggested doing, vote quickly using the buttons at the bottom, or enter into a private discussion forum to debate the merits of the trade. As you can see, Olivia already voted against me, so whether this trade goes to market will come down to Glenn. What makes Volio truly unique is that we track every proposal and vote made by each user. This enables them to learn from those decisions and lock them off at that point in the future when they would net them to zero. But more importantly, it lets them prove to their friends how things would have gone if everyone had listened to them. It's fun, and it builds a community where you can gather insights from the top-performing individuals or clubs in real time. So my question for you is, are you ready to open up a new customer acquisition channel, or are you going to watch your competitors do it and acquire your customers? Come and talk to us. Thanks.
Thanks, Thomas. All right, we're moving along. Next up, we have Yogesh with Hexonica.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There's no fun fact about me because of the area that I'm in, regulatory compliance. We automate regulatory compliance by using artificial intelligence. And why am I doing that? Is because I was the senior vice president at one of the largest banks in the world. And we used to spend more than $2 billion every year. If you search for 30,000 people and the name of the bank and compliance, you'll read a story as to how many people are doing that function every year. In spite of that, we still had to pay fines. That's when I said, things have to change. Reached out to my team. The team has built products. My CTO has built Excel for Microsoft. We have more than 15 years of experience building products. We have ex-regulators, we have ex-bankers, and we have implemented competing products in the industry. The message is, we know this shit in and out. This is not a Citibank problem, it's an industry problem, and banks have been spending billions of dollars. So what we have done is make this ugly-looking slide into a good-looking slide. Automated this, consolidated this, and made it end-to-end so that it's transparent, efficient, and more importantly, regulators can see end-to-end. What I want you to remember here is the right-hand side boxes. That we have been able to get the savings to banks, time savings, cost savings, up to 40% and more. We are working with large financial institutions, such as Fifth Third Bank, and we have completed demos with large institutions such as Deutsche Bank. And FIS is our partner, reseller, distributor. And with IBM, not only we can work with new technologies, we can work right in mainframe. We can prove to all these banks in the audience in less than 90 days. But we are not happy. The real struggle is to the community and regional banks. We want to take these savings much more, up to 60 to 70%. We want to get this to less than 3 weeks and deploy in less than 2 months. And we can get there. For investors in the bank, in the audience, we have current investors who are interested in investing in us. We have current client who is interested in investing in us. And we are looking for somebody to lead the round. So be part of this journey, and let's save banks more than 70% in the regulatory compliance so they can do what they want to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for the heat, everybody. We are on the air conditioning situation. Next up, we have Shahar with Capitalize.
So hello everyone, I'm Shahar, the CEO and co-founder of Capitalize. Capitalize is an award-winning platform. We had the honor to participate in Finovate twice, won Best of Show twice. We had the privilege to be a part of Microsoft Accelerated program in Tel Aviv, and of course here. Capitalize is a trading platform like no other. Capitalize is the trading platform that allows you to completely automate your trading using natural language, meaning you can write any investment scenario that comes to your mind, and the platform automatically transfer and transmit the algorithm to the markets, following the markets for you 24/7, making sure you never miss an investment opportunity again. But not only that, we also allow you to perform backtest and optimization feature on your investment strategies. So if you have an investment strategy and you want to know what if I were to trade like that historically, how would my performance be? We allow you to do that with a single click of a button. And we also perform an optimization process where we take your original strategy and we tweak it and we try to find a better performing one. And we also tell you what you need to change in order to get that improved performance. Capitalize is a white label solution platform. Today we work with eToro, which is the largest social broker out there, and with Interactive Brokers. We're just a few weeks from launching the platform live within Interactive. So everyone who has an Interactive Brokers account could log in and start working with our platform very, very soon. I'm also happy to announce that we're opening Capitalize Crypto. Capitalize Crypto will be a B2C solution which will enable anyone to connect his existing accounts in the different crypto exchanges to our platform and automate his entire trading within the crypto domain. We also develop a marketplace where people can publish and share investment strategies, and others can discover successful investment strategies within the crypto domain. So you'll be able to take your successful investment strategy, publish it to the marketplace, and we actually register you on the blockchain so that you own that strategy and no one else can publish the same strategy. And by that, you can create your own crypto fund where people can discover you, copy you, and by that, you can make a lot of money. I'm also happy to announce that we are opening our own token, and we're going to go for the token sale very, very soon. So if you're interested, if you'd like to know more about us, about our technology, about our B2B solution, about our B2C solution, please come and see us at the booth. Thank you.
All right. Our next presenter was a member of the initial executive team of the inventors of the online social network, Classmates.com. Please welcome Jeff with Neener Analytics.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Locastro, founder and CEO of Neener Analytics. Let's start by framing this a bit. 56% of US consumers alone are thin file, no file, and credit challenged. These are the consumers that you want to need to grow and expand your market, and they want to need to grow and expand with you, but you don't engage with them because the risk of that engagement is either unknown or unreliable. But it doesn't have to be that way. We've developed a regulatory compliant social media decisioning analytics to help lenders, insurance companies, and other risk-focused businesses better decision and understand specific individual risk outcomes for thin file, no file, and credit challenged consumers. For the consumer, it's literally one click. For our customer, it's literally a 20-minute implementation that yields prediction accuracy results of over 80%. So what we're going to talk about today is social media decisioning analytics that actually work. Let's cross this next bridge now. We are well beyond measuring likes and friends, which is a social media solution that's in vogue right now. That's the you are who your friends are approach. But the problem with that is that we're not who our friends are we? We're who we are as unique individual human beings. So let me ask you a question. what if you could sit each customer down with a psychologist and ask them, are you really going to pay us back? Because that's the question, right? The question is not can they, the question is will they? So with one click, we've automated that psychologist. We've cracked the code here. Think of us as social media biometrics, okay? Social media biometrics. And what do those biometrics deliver? Well, along 5 product lines, prediction accuracies of over 70 to over 80% with one click. And what does that mean where it matters? Well, in a recent validation with a high-volume consumer products lender, we demonstrated that we could reduce their defaults by 33%, increase their revenue by 22%. This was a $40 million revenue swing with one click. And what does that look like? Well, it's as simple as this. A button or buttons dropped into any process, anywhere in the process. We can do Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Right now, we're working on YouTube and Instagram. We've got POCs pending and applied right now, pilots across the globe. And I think that based on some conversations we've had just this week, just in the last couple of days, we're going to be adding a couple of stars to the US based on conversations, based on relationships we've formed here at Plug and Play. And on that note, I want to thank Plug and Play for having us in this batch. It's been truly magical, and I mean that. I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I want to thank all of you for coming. I appreciate your time. Now come see us. We're right out the door. We'd love to chat with you, drill deeper into what we can do, show you what we can do, take you through a live demo, and show you really just how predictive and how easy this is. So on behalf of my co-founder, Mark, and myself, I want to say thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, so the next presenter is one of the most interesting individuals I've ever had a chance to personally meet. He's actually been on a journey since he's moved out here to Silicon Valley these past 3 months. He slept in garages, slept on couches, and right now he's in New York and he's homeless. So if anyone in the audience finds his presentation as entertaining as I do, please try and hook him up. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Michael Rangel with Novo.
Well, thank you for that. That was overtly honest and pretty humiliating, but thanks, I guess. But seriously, if you guys have space at your homes, I'm looking for a place. So my name is Michael Rangel. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Novo, where we're building smarter banking products for millennial business owners. And given the time constraints today, I've never really done a pitch this short, and I really wanted to elicit the problem at hand as to why we need these products. So I took a look to Twitter. And I found tweets like this: Bank of America, your business banking sucks. And I also found tweets like all of these, and this was just in a period of about 20 minutes. And as you can imagine, these don't really say very nice things. And then my favorite tweet: Bank of America, I wouldn't do business with you if my life depended on it. And I had to censor this one, so that's why it's blanked out. So this is the first problem, right? Small businesses aren't getting the tools they need to effectively manage their business from their banks, right? And this forces them to search for other alternatives, whether that be Microsoft Excel or learning how to use QuickBooks. And this search for alternatives costs both time and money. And while we were on this roadshow of looking for a partner bank to launch a product together to cater to this market, we found that there was another massive, massive, massive problem that no one is really targeting right now. And this problem is regional banks. This is the smaller guy. Right? So regional banks are dying because they're being squeezed by added regulatory costs, and they're not necessarily making more money than they were before, so they have to pull from former innovation and marketing budgets in order to comply with those costs. And what does that do? That puts them at a disadvantage to retaining their existing customer base as well as acquiring new ones. So then I'd like to introduce Novo. We're a platform that provides small businesses the technology they need, while getting our partner banks the customers they want, while offering the products they want that would benefit their balance sheet accordingly. Initially, we're launching the deposit side of the platform. We're launching commercial checking accounts with debit cards. In 2018, we'll be launching the credit side of the platform. And when small businesses come to us, we are then able to allocate these banking tools according to the needs of our banking partners. So if your bank doesn't need more deposits and it only needs loans, then your bank will only qualify for added loan products. Essentially, it's Novo's goal to create the challenger banks from the little guys and empower them to compete against the big guys once again. So this is how Nova works. Essentially, we're a layer of technology that sits on top of our bank partner network. We are able to quickly develop and deploy different product sets, right? In this case, the AI component, our artificially intelligent robot, which acts as a pocket CFO, if you will, where small businesses can engage with something that knows their business inflows and outflows, or the personalized platform, mobile application, all of the banking needs through the mobile app, or whether it's API banking capabilities that these small businesses want. Essentially, the goal here is to provide a sort of a la carte feel to these small businesses instead of the one-size-fits-all offering that most big banks offer, that everyone was so thrilled about in the tweets. So this is what we've done to date. We're looking to launch our business accounts later this month, probably early next month, given banking moves rather slow. And core providers, I definitely don't have enough time in this pitch to describe how I feel about them. So our primary bank partner, I'm unable to disclose to you right now. However, we have had different discussions with additional banks, both small and large, who want to also join this network. And then we've gotten a little bit of press, which has resulted in a pretty sizable wait list, which is very exciting for us. This is our team. We have a team of a bunch of rock stars other than me, which is pretty cool. Myself, my co-founder, he's launched a bunch of startups, had a couple exits, as well as a rock star team, both PhDs in artificial intelligence, people who have worked for some very big companies, which allow us to create some really cool product. I look forward to chatting with you guys a little bit more. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. So next up is Peter. Peter rowed a boat across the English channels. He's now working for a company called Squirrel.
Hello, everyone. So today I want to talk to you about Squirrel and driving decisions with data. I don't really have to talk to this group about the fact that we're in a data-driven world. But the consequence of that has been that companies are now being replaced that aren't effectively using their data. And they're being replaced by companies that are effectively using their data. So how does Squirrel come into this? Well, at Squirrel, we realize that it's data silos for large organizations that's the real hindrance to actually using your data effectively. And that can be through growth, that can be through legacy applications, and that can be through having a CRM that has multiple instances. That's the reason that Salesforce has now invested in us, because they can't talk to each other, and so you're not talking to your customers effectively because there's no single truth about your customer or even about your internal environment. And so that means that people are either trying to search through different individual tools, or they've just put search across everything and effectively doing the same thing. There's too much data to go through. At Squirrel, our vision, and actually what we do with customers, is to become that insights layer across the organization. It means that we connect to all those silos and data outside your organization, and through Squirrel, bring it to your end users so they can make decisions based on the data that is relevant to them in the context within which they work. So that's their CRM system, that's their IT service management system, the relevant data to help them do their job more effectively. So for us, we see this as a new paradigm. This is empowering the end user with the right data at the right time, so coming to the right person. And that data should then help them make the next best decision about what they want to do with their customer, and this leads to growing revenue for our customers, and it also leads to cost savings. I haven't put that up there, but that's something that helps as well. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at our customers, some of them, and the people who have invested in us. And actually, Ario Ludi, who I don't believe he's in the room anymore, but he is one of our star investors from the Hammer team. He's here as well if you want to talk to him about why he's invested in Squirrel and what we're doing with our customers. So thank you very much. And as the others have said, please do come and visit us out in the hall and look us up. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Peter. All right, next up, we have TrueLink. Please welcome Kai. His company sits at the intersection between banking and old people.
Two most exciting things in America. Everyone agrees retirement is changing. Defined contribution has replaced defined benefit. Longevities are up. Social security is down. Family structures are changing. Alzheimer's and dementia have moved from being an event to being a life stage. With the emergence of every new demographic group, there's an opportunity for new financial incumbents. So military families, business travelers, university professors, farmers, even new Italian immigrants have formed the fertile ground in which multi-billion-dollar-a-year companies have grown. If we can meet the needs of this new aging demographic, the largest, wealthiest, and fastest growing demographic group in history, nobody has made yet a credible argument why we can't also build a $20 billion a year company. So who are the customers not being served by today's banks? I'm going to offer 4 examples. One, this was actually my grandmother. When she became one of the 11 million Americans with Alzheimer's, she stopped being able to record new long-term memories, which means that instead of donating $10 a month to charity, she donated $10 an hour to charity because if a charitable telemarketer called once an hour, she didn't remember the last call. So this is something that TrueLink can help with that other banks can't. Another example, suppose you have a daughter who's helping manage your investments, another one who's financially supporting you, and you have an in-home caregiver who buys groceries but shouldn't be able to take out cash at an ATM, who has a power of attorney, who has the password for online banking, who has a debit card or credit card on the account. This is, again, something where we have a more sophisticated permissions model, so we can support that need where other banks can't. A third example, about 2/3 of long-term care in the US is paid for by Medicaid. Suppose dad has exhausted his financial resources and is now, his long-term care is being supported by Medicaid. If you buy his groceries or fill up his car with gas, there's certain record-keeping responsibilities so that he stays eligible and doesn't lose life-saving benefits. TrueLink can keep those records and other banks can't. And final example, suppose at age 65 you are rolling over a 401k, have just received life insurance or inheritance, downsized your home, your financial advisor is retiring, and you're looking for a modern financial advisor that has expertise in health and longevity, which is actually a greater source of risk for you at that age than market risk. TrueLink is a robo-advisor that has that expertise and can take into account that source of risk in a way that other robo-advisors can't. So fun punchline, after Silicon Valley has spent $300 million marketing debit cards in the last decade and probably 10 times that marketing robo-advisors, we believe we're the first in either category to achieve profitability. And I'd love to say it's because we're so smart, but actually it's just such a great demographic group to market differentiated products to. So we'd love to help your clients if your clients have these needs. And using my last 5 seconds on stage for a random side comment, we're also so good at special needs. And so if your clients have kids with special needs, we can help with that too.
All right, so our next presenter won 2nd place in a worldwide dance music production competition. 1st place got to go on tour with a DJ in Europe. He won a t-shirt. So I know the break is next, so don't go too far. So please welcome Nir with Content AI.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Nir. I'm the CEO of Kanta AI. What we do is we allow everyone who give mortgages in the US, be it lenders or brokers, to drastically reduce the cost associating with producing the loan using proprietary technology, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how. The statistics are mind-boggling. It's $7,000 it costs to originate a mortgage in the US. Why is that? Around 1/3 of that is around the processing the application, the paperwork, and so on. This is where most of mortgage tech is around. 2/3 of that is around producing and selling the mortgage. Why is that? It's a very difficult product to sell. People are very stressed out about it. They don't know what you're doing, and they want to talk with the person who will explain this to them, and they don't respond to ads at all. This is what we're solving. The statistic that we wanted to start with is this is mind-boggling. If you start talking with a client, and if you access them 5 minutes, in less than 5 minutes before they talk with you, they're 21 times more likely to convert. Not 10 minutes, not 15, under 5 minutes. So the only way to do that at scale is to talk with them at all, to talk with everyone at the same time. A very good infrastructure to do that is chatbot technology. It works very well with consumer products. So we did that. We did a very large-scale experiment to understand how people are responding to that. And I want to share with you what we've learned. Mortgage is not pizza. What happens is that people didn't respond to the question. They answered the question with a question. They asked another thing that they deviated from the subject. And this is why we needed to build something else. So we built technology from the ground up to tackle this challenge, to have very long conversation about a very difficult subject. We provide this as a white label solutions to banks and financial institutions. Whoever gives mortgages is a hybrid chatbot web solution that enables to interact with their clients at every channel, social media, Facebook campaigns, and mobile, every channel that you can do. We have very nice statistics from lenders in the US. We're shifting into new gear. We're having a massive validation projects in New York, including work with Barclays Bank. This is my second company. I have background also in mortgage and in technology. My partners have a deep experience in managing projects and also hands-on machine learning and deep learning. I would love to tell you more. We're looking for bank partners. We're just outside. Thank you.
Thank you, Nir. All right, everybody. We have a quick 15-minute bathroom break. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, grab some cold water. I know it's really hot. We'll have beer at the end. But be back here at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
I was tired of being led by an industry that profits from the insecurity that I was feeling, and I wanted to change that.
The perfect world is going to be one in which cybersecurity is right hand of the company.
These two concepts here, cyber insurance and cyber warranties, are going to dictate the entire market of cybersecurity, and they will affect the lives of everybody working in this space.
In the future, we see a lot of large corporate hacks, but I think the greatest danger facing the world of cybersecurity is the Internet of Things. Refrigerator manufacturers know everything there is to know about refrigerators, but they know absolutely nothing about cybersecurity. We have to educate these companies.
Cybersecurity touches every aspect of the business, from HR to legal to planning to project management. And if it isn't involved and those individuals aren't trained in cybersecurity and understanding that as a priority, it's never going to be as effective.
We're very excited to announce our new cybersecurity program launching in Q1.
We're here to present CryptoMove's new innovation and how our technology can enable data protection and change the paradigm for enterprises as they attempt to protect their data.
The startups provide us a sandbox of ways of how to grow technologies that we will be using soon in a way that's not something that large organizations are capable of doing at this point.
Some of the best ideas come from the startup world, and the needs are all around when we look at cybersecurity. So innovation is the very best place to start. There are no constraints, there are no limits.
Plug and Play is just a phenomenal organization that can help startups to find good potential customers, good mentors, good potential investors. At CryptoMove, for instance, we just started working with BNP Paribas, which was an introduction made by Plug and Play. And so we know that Plug and Play works, that the ecosystem plugs you in to the largest organizations in the world and gets you real paying contracts and customers. So that's why we're very excited about this program.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. If I can have everybody's attention. So yes, our company is now proud to announce that we'll be launching a cybersecurity platform starting Q1 next year. My colleague Bo, raise your hand, will be in charge of running it. If you guys want to know more details, more information, get involved, he'll be around here all day, especially at the networking session, so talk to him over a beer. So next up, we have Rob with Koyfin. Rob's first job actually was working for a kosher ice cream truck. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks so much. It's so hot in here. I bet you guys wish I still worked for an ice cream truck. So I'm Rob. I'm the CEO of Koyfin. We're building research tools for investors. And let me tell you why. So today, if you're an investor, you have two diametrically opposed choices. You have access to Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, or maybe you have some tools that are provided by your online broker. And if you want more advanced tools, you have to go to a Bloomberg or a Reuters. But those tools cost $25,000 per year. And then if you want something in the middle, you're out of luck. And that's the crux of what we're doing. We're building a tool with the most advanced functionality available to the most number of people. If I had to put it in car terms, imagine if you went to shop for a car and all you could buy was a Peugeot or a Lamborghini. Well, we're building the Lexus for the investment community, or BMW if you're a German corporate partner. This is a hot button issue in finance. Donald Trump actually commented on this in the 2016 race. This is when Michael Bloomberg was thinking about running. He basically said, why is Bloomberg so special? Why hasn't anyone replaced it? It's so simple. Well, we disagree that it's simple. It's actually not. Bloomberg is very ingrained. But the thing is, because it's so expensive, a lot of people don't have access to Bloomberg. And who are those people? Well, if you look at the 45 million investors in the US, and these are people who are investing money on their own, not through their pension, we're focused on the 15% that have the sophistication to use more advanced tools. 1 million of those are professional investors. They're financial advisors, they're salespeople, they're research people, they're investment bankers. And then 5 million are high net worth individuals. They're people that are managing more than $250,000 of their own money. And that's who we're targeting. Now, in addition to advanced functionality, there are two other things that set us apart. First is our intense focus on user interface. A lot of the legacy tools today, they look like they were built in the 1980s because they were built in the 1980s. So we've really focused on how do you make something more intuitive, how do you make it more user-friendly. The other thing we're focused on is making available our tools to everyone for free, and then thinking about what is the professional version. So today, you can go on our website and use all the tools that we've built for free. And we think that's going to be a key differentiator going forward and help us acquire customers. We launched in the summer, and we've already had 1,000 people sign up with $0 of marketing. The team that's leading this company is myself and Rich. We have over 30 years of experience in equities, credit, fixed income, and macro. We've been building dashboards for traders and investors, and we think we're the right people for the job. If you want to find out more information, please come see us at our booth. 10 seconds left. I'd like to thank Plug and Play for everything they've done. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. So the next company's founding team consists of a serial entrepreneur, his son and daughter, an IBM cybersecurity fellow, an ex-hacker, 2 beauty queens, one of which who is here today. Please welcome Chris with LifeSite.
Just in case anybody's wondering, out of the 2 beauty queens, I am not one of them. Hello, wrong microphone. My name is Chris Wong, and I'm here to talk about LifeSite. We are proud winners of AARP's first FinTech competition, which was in February, as well as we won Amazon Alexa's top skill in the July timeframe. Well, this is my family. This is my family. My family's also in the back, but that's my pop. My pop's had a tough year this year, given that he's gone in for multiple heart attacks this year. The last time he went into the doctors, I happened to be with him. When I took him to the hospital, though, once I got there, and I'm sure many of you have the same situation, I was inundated with requests for information. They asked me what medication he was taking. They asked me the dosage. They asked me his medical insurance number. And in this particular case, since it was multiple times for him, they even asked me if he had an advanced care directive. But fortunately for me, my family is the ultimate eat-your-own-dog food test, in that my entire family uses LifeSite. So I was able to bring up LifeSite, produce all that information, get my dad checked into the hospital, and get him treated. I think the moral of that story is that while none of us can really predict the future, I think we can all agree that we're never really prepared. So what is LifeSite for businesses? How would your clients, their families, or loved ones feel about you if you were able to help them organize their life's information? So with that, our flagship product is the LifeSite Vault. It's an ultra-secure, cloud-based digital safe deposit box. It's an application which has thousands of fields and dozens of categories to help you organize, manage all of your life's information. The product manages all aspects of life, from life insurance, health information, wills, all the way to the travel documentation. We even manage family passwords. All fields are privilege protected, so you decide who sees it and who doesn't. We also have optimized it for multiple devices. So it works on a mobile device, and you can also take pictures, scan documents, as well as the Amazon Alexa skill, which is a powerful voice assistant, so that older people in particular, right, can query for medical information, they can query for life insurance information when things are due. Just to give you an idea what the product looks like, this is what the homepage looks like. It can be private labeled for businesses. And then when you look at the various screens, it's very intuitive to use. So this is medical. This is information related to checklists. We plan to put machine learning behind it. And then this is what the file vault looks like, very intuitive. And then lastly, the second product is called LifeSite Pro, which is sold to advisors, so you can see all your clients, as well as actually manage them from a single portal. And then lastly, if you look at business traction, we're generating revenue. We've got closer to 70,000 families using the application, as well as 30+ businesses. And most recently, we just signed a global reselling agreement with Salesforce.com to embed our application into their CRM. So in closing, out of the 8 startups, out of the 8 companies that I've started, 7 I've exited, I believe this one has the brightest future. We have a global scalable business model. We have a deep pipeline of business. And we have a proven multi-generational team that our customers, partners, and you can trust. So thank you very much. Join us at LifeSite.
All right. So our next company, it's based in Zurich, development's in Barcelona, marketing's in London. We have Bob here in the Americas, and there's 37 people that work for the company that speak 39 different languages. Please welcome Bobby T, or Bob Trevelyan, with QuamRamp.
Hi, everybody. You're all here looking at Plug and Play and all the different options that are around for you to look at innovative technologies. There's one person out there generally, actually I heard this morning more than one, maybe multiple, people who say no. And those people that say no is your compliance officer, your risk officer, your legal counsel, whoever that might happen to be. We developed a product to make this person happy. This is the only product I've ever seen where I can make the chief counsel, the head of risk, and the marketing person happy. So what we do is we record every digital interaction, web, social media, and mobile, and we capture all that information that's going on between your clients and you. We can also capture information between your employees and customer identifiable data inside for employee protection. We do all of this and for a bunch of different reasons. One is to prove from a regulatory perspective what the client actually saw. We can replay it exactly as it was seen, like a movie. And then we can drive all this data into an analytic platform to do things like what Credit Suisse does, which is try to use our data with other data, CRM data, to drive new innovation like new logical or next logical product for their clients. So this is what we do. We protect the bank. We detect fraud, or can detect fraud, working with you. We enable innovative approaches to channels, because now we can record everything across every channel, including social media, including WhatsApp, which is end-to-end encrypted, as you know. So we record for purpose. We use the data to innovate. So this guy, interesting person. We've solved the problem. We've made this individual happy. And let me give you an example. In July, we were here at Plug and Play on Selection Day, and we met a very interesting company called Bancolombia. And today, they took what we were doing, and we worked with them. They went back and provided the solutions to the management team at Bancolombia. And we ran into this guy. Okay? And this guy in 7 countries. So this guy in multiple languages, but 7 countries. So what we did is we took the risk, these people who say no, to Zurich last week, and met with 2 of our major clients, UBS and Credit Suisse. They have now gone back to Colombia. We're moving ahead. They're going to go ahead with innovation. They're going to go ahead with social media channels. They're going to go ahead with everything innovative that they possibly can do. So Plug and Play works. We met Bancolombia here. We've met Bancolombia here multiple times. We've been just moving ahead. It's fantastic. So come and talk to us afterwards. What we do works. It protects you guys and allows you to innovate. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. All right, so next up, this one's pretty interesting, is the impossible love child between Larry Bird and Bill Clinton. Please welcome Brad with In Command.
They said something memorable. Hi, my name is Brad Walker, and I'm the CEO of In Command. Go to the slides here. Do we have the slides? All right. Oh. Okay, so Brad Walker, In Command. This is Edith. Edith just retired, and she needs to invest her money. But she has a big problem. Traditional fixed income is yielding near historical lows. And she can't take on the volatility of the stock market or the risk of LendingClub and Prosper. After the financial crisis, strict limits were put on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac from what type of mortgages they could buy. Now, prime borrowers that don't have W-2 income are not eligible for a conforming mortgage. And lenders have always made these loans and previously sold them to Fannie and Freddie. Now they're looking for new buyers. That's where we come in. We can solve the problem of both of these populations. and we do it with what we call the Primo. So a Primo is a security backed by a single prime-rated mortgage. And we set out to build something that we would be comfortable selling to our own parents, something that's safe and has a great return of 5+%. And it works with a borrower who's out looking for a home loan. They find one of our lending partners. Lending partner will underwrite them, and if they're a good borrower, originate the loan. We then take that mortgage and review it against our own strict guidelines, and if it fits, we'll buy it and turn it into a Primo. Investors can buy into any one Primo in increments as low as $100. So through our patent-pending technology, we've launched a really simple and intuitive investor platform. Investors like Edith can come in and buy across all Primos, or they can customize a portfolio. And they'll always have unprecedented access to how their Primo is doing and where it is. As a business, we have 3 streams of revenue. The largest is ongoing platform fees. We also make money off interest from uninvested client cash. And within a few years, we'll have a very large pool of monetizable mortgage market data. These are our sales projections to the right. We've put together a fantastic team to execute on our company vision. We have our CMO, Keith Meyer, who was the head of marketing at Prosper, CTO, Vinny Phillips, who built Schwab's first online trading platform, and I was Pensco Trust Company's expert in crowdfunding and marketplace lending. So to date, we've bought $1.3 million of mortgage principal and sold over $300,000 worth of Primos. And we've been nominated and won a number of awards and write for NASDAQ.com and TheStreet.com. So that's where we're at now. Next, we're going to drive scale by selling to accredited investors through wealth advisors and to institutions, then full retail, and then expand into other hard asset-backed offerings. We're raising our Series A with the help of Senna Hill Partners right now. So if anyone's interested in investing in the company or in Primos, please come see us outside. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. So our next presenter actually used to take the main stage. He was on a reality dating show on Bravo. Please welcome Mike Kane with Hydrogen.
Awesome, thanks so much. I'm Mike, I'm the co-founder and chief chemist at Hydrogen. So very simply, Hydrogen is an API platform to very quickly build, scale, and run fintech platforms, very similar to what AWS value proposition is. It's a very simple customer pain here. I'm sure many people in the room feel this as well. It costs typically $30 to $50 million to launch a fintech app in investing, savings, insurance, go down the line. And typically for big enterprises around the world, that's a 2 to 3 year proposition. On a Hydrogen, you could do that in 1 day and a fraction of the price. So we think we have a killer platform because it's very, very simple and light, hence the name Hydrogen, the foundation for life. It's very easy to plug in. We have an API architecture, much like Stripe or other APIs that you might have used. And then the customer interfaces, or whoever the customer is, interfaces with their APIs. It's just one API that you plug into. It doesn't matter how many third parties we plug into, how many things internally that we have to interface with, just one API interface. So it's very, very simple. And you could build and launch platforms globally. We'll have over 12 countries already next year where they're launching applications. So this is a new app, no funding. We already have explosive growth. We're on pace $20 million in revenue next year. And like I said, we have partners all around the world, insurance, banking, asset management, and hopefully soon startups. So we'll work on that model for next year. We're disrupting a lot of big companies, and we've actually won contracts from these companies. So firms like Salesforce, IBM, Accenture, companies that make obviously a lot of money. So if you think about our ecosystem as a true platform, not only can you plug into our APIs, we have modules on top of them. The first one that we launched this year is an AI module where we compete with IBM. So everything is housed within our APIs. So we do predictive analytics, bots, et cetera, on top of our platform. Same thing with blockchain. We have our own blockchain module that we'll release. I'm very excited about that. I'm leading the initiative on. It's called Hydro, and that does things like authentication, document signing, transactions, payments, et cetera, and that's built off of Ethereum. And that will be built on top of the API soon. We have a very experienced team. Myself and my brother, he's the guy on the left that looks like me, my twin brother. We launched one of the first wealth tech apps called Hedgeable in the US in 2009. So we're very, very familiar with building applications. So if you want to get in touch, we're doing a token sale fairly soon. Also open to equity if we could find some good partners. And we're looking to hire about 40 people. So if anyone's a data scientist, engineer, front and back end, please get in touch. Thank you.
All right, our next presenter is an avid golfer. He even has a hole-in-one to prove it. Please welcome Ashish with Eltropy.
Humanity is addicted to messaging. The green you see on this chart is WhatsApp. That's the company Facebook bought for $19 billion. The blue you see here is Facebook Messenger and iMessage. 95% of these text messages get read within 3 minutes and responded to within 90 seconds. In fact, out of the 20 startup founders, 18 founders are texting right now. Now that humanity is addicted to messaging, the big three messaging platform owners, Google, Apple, and Facebook, all three of them announced in the last 6 months that they are opening messaging platforms for business use cases. So what does this mean for financial services firms? Wells Fargo launched their text banking solution 2 months ago. American Express launched a chatbot on Facebook Messenger. Both of these solutions are great for a human to talk to a machine, to get some questions answered. But what about a human talking to a human? A human talking to an agent, a human talking to a broker, a human talking to a financial advisor. Financial services firms are struggling with embracing text messaging for their client-facing teams. Why? There are several challenges that need to be solved so that these salespeople or these client-facing people can engage with you on text messaging, on iMessage, on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger. So what we built at Eltropy is the world's first sales acceleration platform that works over messaging. So how does Eltropy work? Using our technology, client-facing teams can engage with clients on any messenger that they like. And while these conversations are going on, the sales teams can actually share new product information using unique links. When the clients click on these new product information and they start consuming that, Eltropy analyzes 24 different data points through our machine learning algorithm, and we predict buyer behavior analytics. We give a simplified form of these analytics to the salesperson so they know who to call, when to call to close the deal. And we create a metrics dashboard for the corporate team so they can know what's really going on out on these messengers. So what's the proof point? We are currently working with 40 financial institutions around the world, one of which is one of the largest banks in Asia. They've been using our technology for the last 6 months over WhatsApp, and they have increased their conversions for the mutual fund products by 300%. So to summarize, Eltropy gives financial firms insights on how to grow revenue while giving customers a fantastic buying experience over the messengers that they prefer. If you like what you heard today, please, please, please do not visit our booth, just text me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. Next up, we have my man Azar. Azar thinks compliance is cool. So he started his company, Scanovate. Welcome, Azar.
Hi, everyone. So let me tell you what is Scanovate. Scanovate is an identity management platform that provides two things for financial institutions. First, we take your customer journey and we make it frictionless. We help you onboard people very fast and frictionless. The second thing we do, we automate your KYC process. So our vision is to become the global market leader in digital identity management. Our mission is to provide you with identity management solutions that to help you stand in regulatory demands through one platform. So what we achieved till now. You can see that we have some different partners, Temenos, Deloitte, Plug and Play in here, which we thanks a lot to them, and Plug and Play in Paris as well. We just closed in these two programs in the past 3 months, 5 POCs. So you can see that we have 13 million end users through our clients, including very large banking groups and some others. So what is the pain we address? So what we understood in the past few months or the past few years is that digital bring a lot of new solutions. Your digital officers bring new loan solutions, they want to do remittance, but they have a big, big no-no on the other side, which is called compliance. We solve that. So our solution allows companies to maintain regulatory compliance, and while we do that, we maintain an intuitive customer journey that help your conversion rates get higher. So how does it work? We have 2 pillars. One of them is methodology, the other one is compliance. We understand both. What we do, we collect the information through 2 tools. We have our own proprietary OCR and our own proprietary facial recognition engine that do something very unique. We compare between a facial picture taken from an ID to a live selfie video the customer did. We check that he's alive and he's present in the session. Then we connect between the card to the card holder. And the last thing we need to do right now is to run all compliance. So we do AML, PAP, sanctions, OFAC, adverse media, some social media. We can do address lookup, phone number verification, and all in about 8 seconds. What takes today to a medium bank about 48 hours, large bank a little bit more, take us 8 seconds. So what is our value proposition? We're empowering mobile channels. We're delivering high compliance, lowering service operating costs because you invest a lot in compliance and risk. Our benefits are tested solutions. As I said, 13 million end users. We are fast and simple integration. It takes us about 2 days to integrate. And as I said before, everything is on premises. So it means that all the technology is set inside your premise, and not just this, all the information is kept within the bank. Last thing, I want to thank Plug and Play. Thank you so much in here and in Paris that you welcomed us so lovely, and thank you for everything. Cheers.
All right. The next presenter got stuck upside down in a snowdrift last year while snowboarding. Welcome, Bob, with Hedge.
Thank you. Tree wheels can be dangerous. I want everyone to know that. And hopefully we have another ski season like last year. Thanks for your time. I'm the CEO of Hedge. Now, it may be a bit controversial, but like them or hate them, the digital currency asset class is going to be around for a little while longer. Most estimates have the value, total market cap of this asset class surpassing $1 trillion in the next 3 years. All of this opportunity is starting to lure a lot of institutional investors, especially hedge funds. So the problem with that is that these institutional investors are used to certain back office solutions, things that they would normally go to their bank to buy that just don't exist. Things like security, custody, prime brokerage services. These funds, these investment funds, just simply aren't set up to handle that. And we're dealing with an entire new technology stack in the digital currency space. And that's the problem that Hedge has solved. We provide a top-of-the-line custodial service and market making based on our own proprietary multi-sig wallet. What this essentially means is that we can work with both your fund administrator, your accounting team, and your fund managers internally to keep the investment fund compliant. So what does this mean? This means those financial institutions that used to bank those funds or they're very profitable clients, we can work with them as well in order to implement our software and allow your clients to invest in this space. what we're seeing right now is a very large growing need based on the potential returns in this space, almost $100 billion we expect to come online in the next 12 months alone. And what that means for the market size, if we compare it to the traditional hedge fund space, is that we're looking at about $2 billion in net revenue by 2020. And that's sort of the target for what your financial institution is looking to either lose or gain. So what does this mean for us as a company? We're a young company. We're raising our seed investment at this point in time. We've had a lot of positive traction and feedback. One of the sort of most prolific chief investment officers in this space stated that we would be doing a great service to the crypto community by coming up with this solution. Right now, we're looking for great capital partners for seed investment, as well as financial institutions who, while may not be ready to dive headfirst into the space, are looking to explore how we can be an added service to your current custody and prime brokerage offerings. Last but not least, a shout out to the great team, 3 great engineers deep in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Kevin has been a great advocate of ours as well. And again, my name is Bob Rutherford. Hoping that we can chat a little bit more. Come find me after this. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Next up is a company that actually went through 2 programs at the same time, both fintech and retail. Please welcome Shad with Bowtie.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shad Aldrich. I'm the head of partnerships for Bowtie Inc. We are a fintech company for the prepaid industry with a focus on digital gift cards. We're based in San Francisco. We are a group of global entrepreneurs with backgrounds in retail as well as payments. We're closing out a Series B round and would love to talk to you about becoming one of our customers. So we're in this industry today because there's a huge opportunity to convert plastic to digital. Plastic, it's old school, it's time-consuming to administer, it's impersonal. With digital, it's very personal when you can attach a video to it, and you can administer it very easily. It gives you full visibility into the distribution of your programs, and you can send to thousands within a few clicks. Some of the achievements we've had, our product portfolio, we have a digital gift card application where you can quickly download the app, select the gift card that you want to send. Flex Awards is our most robust tool, which I'll talk about a little bit more here in a second. We have API capabilities, allowing our customers to actually create their own digital gift card mall. And Smart Retail, this is new. So we're converting plastic card programs to digital, something we're actually doing here at Plug and Play out in the cafeteria. So Flex Awards, it's, like I said, our most robust incentive and rewards platform. And we're pretty excited about it because we found numerous use cases for this particular program. So what you'll see here are the use cases that we found so far. We have a customer, a 15,000 person employee, using it for employee rewards, sales incentives, and even customer appeasement. We've reduced their administration time by about 75% and saving them 7 figures. A little bit about the platform itself. It's very simple and intuitive. Gives you full visibility into the distribution of your gift card program. We even give you the ability to create your own digital gift card with your own company logo. When you send that out as a credit, your recipients get to choose their gift card of choice. You get to personalize it. The customer, the recipients end up getting to use it as within a mobile solution. So they view the personalization, which includes the video. They either view their gift card or select the gift card that they want to purchase. They store it in the phone for use in-store or online. So would love to talk to you guys more. Once again, Shad Aldrich, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Shad. Next up, we have David, CEO, and Logan, the head of research. They actually used to shred hard together at the Greer Skateboard Park when they were at Stanford. Please welcome David with Responsive AI.
Evening, everybody. It's almost Miller time, so let's talk about wealth management. We're a hybrid wealth management solution for enterprise that drives better experiences and outcomes for clients based on bio-inspired machine learning. Robo is munching away at mass market wealth management. We know this, $1 trillion by 2020. And we're starting to hear stories from Capgemini and McKinsey about how the big gorillas in this neck of the woods want to get into the business potentially. So something to think about. This presents a problem for private wealth businesses. There's the client expectation piece, there's the operational pressure piece, but the more fun question is around what quality personalized service is going to look like in 3 to 5 years. Our business does the digital thing, and we're folding up back office and mid office to get efficiency there. But there's a $1 trillion question that's much more fun to think about, because wealth management is a huge sport, and there's going to be big winners and big losers in the coming years. That's what I think. How do we serve better for less? We think it's human touch when it matters most. We think it's improving the trust relationship between the private client and the advisor. Now let's talk about how we can actually do that. Intelligence. Empower the relationship manager to respond to the client's needs in real time, whether that's stress or whether that's opportunity. And how do we do this? Continuous monitoring of their transactional exhaust to get a sense of where they are in their life cycle. We can also look at wealth personas. Who is our client? What kind of cohort are they in? And are they in a cohort that is going to be a more successful investor over the long term, or maybe a more stagnant investor over the long term? Detecting if something's happened in someone's life. Did they have a divorce? Did they have a kid? Are they depressed? Are they anxious? Maybe it's time for a checkup from the advisor. And let's back this up a little bit. The intuition here is that transactional data is a biomarker for human life. And we're combining our expertise in wealth management with hard science. This is Logan, our head of research and an awesome skateboarder. He's a PhD in neuroscience, postdoc at Columbia, and this gives us a really sick hiring pipeline into Stanford and Columbia in both the machine learning and statistics departments. The rest of the team, depth of knowledge in wealth management, an Accenture head who did consulting for Fortune 500 companies. My CTO, Chris, has done bank infrastructure before. So we're ready for this show. The only thing I want to tell you about this is that we're going to focus on the 3 to 5 year problem here. And there's going to be steps along the way, little pieces of value that we can talk about later in a POC. But we are going to be a product-focused company that's trying to solve the relationship with machine learning. So happy to talk more. We're already talking to a couple of you in the room about POCs. Please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, David. How about a quick round of applause for all the startups that pitched today? So please click the link. The link's on the back of your badge. Make sure you vote for Best in Show. Give it about 5 minutes, and then we'll tally it up and announce the winner. In the meantime, I'd like to introduce my boss, Scott Robinson. So let's give him a warm welcome once again.
Fantastic. Well, this is the end of our 3-day summit. We have 2 awards to give on behalf of FinTech. So these awards are representative of our partners' activities and engagements with both our startups and here at Plug and Play. So the first award that I'd like to announce is our Most Active Corporate Innovation Award. And with that, I'd like to invite the winner, Credit Suisse, to stage. Congratulations.
If Jared's around, I'd like him to come up as well, but thanks to Scott, RJ, and the entire team for being such wonderful partners. We've been involved with Plug and Play for about 3 years now, yeah. And we've had changes at Credit Suisse in the meantime, but the relationship here has been very strong. The pipeline's always been wonderful. We've connected with a number of companies, a number of startups through the platform here, provided our insights where necessary, where helpful, and gotten close to investment a few times as well, and made some very worthwhile introductions internally as well. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And this is the first time we've done this award, but it's a very important award. So we wanted to recognize one of our partners that has both internally and externally revolutionized the culture of their company. So with that, I'd like to call up our colleagues from Banco do Brasil, Vilmar, winning our Cultural Transformation Award. So congratulations.
Thank you very much for the chance working with you guys for about 1.5 years. It's been really great and amazing. What we do is we bring our colleagues from Brazil to leave this environment for 3 months so they can see and breathe this air and bring more innovation into the company. We met a lot of the wonderful partners that you have here, and you introduced them to us. It's been really a great experience, and thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
Congratulations. I just want to quickly remind our startups, so Batch 6 startups, please, we'll call you to stage for a team picture after this. And a drum roll, please, for the winner of FinTech Batch 6 Fall Summit. And the winner is Koifin.
Thanks so much. That was pretty unexpected. You know, I actually remember in New York when I heard of Plug and Play, you know, Plug and Play is just opening up their New York office, so I hadn't heard of them when I applied, and someone told me about the program. I thought it was genius, connecting corporate sponsors with startups, and a very great value proposition for both. And then I was going to do the program remotely if I got in. We got in, and I met someone on the deck out there, and they were basically like, "You're stupid if you get in and you don't move out here for 3 months." And so I've been out here for 3 months for someone out of New York to be in the Silicon Valley ecosystem. It's been tremendous, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. Thank you so much.
Of course. Congratulations. So all that stands between you and your beer is just one last thank you. I wanted to extend a big thank you to the team. So the FinTech team, thank you so much for what you've done for the startups this past 3 months. Secondly, there's a lot of folks that made this happen today. So to the operations, marketing, and events team, thank you so much for making an environment that's conducive to our startup success. So thank you very much. And with that, thank you for coming today. We hope to see you soon. And if you have any further questions, grab one of us. We'll be around networking outside. Thanks again.